much for the help, because I receive a lot of messages asking me for the book because you guys want to help me. And for those ones who for any reason can't buy the book, don't worry, I understand. So don't feel bad, okay? Well, today the story is a bit sad. I did the Spanish versions already, and people been asking me, please do the English version. Today we are going to talk about the Menendez brothers, and I got to be honest. When this happened, I didn't put much attention on this. Maybe because it was in 1989 and I get here in Australia in 1988, so my English was not that good, or maybe because I was too busy with the boys. The boys were little. I hear about this, but the only thing I hear was they were guilty of killing the parents because of the money and blah blah blah. But that's the only thing. And a few weeks ago, one of my sons came and talked to me about this. He was very upset. So I decided to investigate and see what really happened. I spent a few days watching videos because the first trial was nothing to stop it, making her complicit in the violence. Unbelievable. They argued that the reason they killed their parents was because they feared their parents would kill them. According to their testimony, justice system in general downplay the abuse allegations. In the second trial, the judge significantly reduced the amount of testimonies and evidence regarding the abuse, limiting the brothers' defense from presenting these key pieces of José Menendez during his adolescence. This testimony was made public in the documentary series Menendez plus Menudo, Boys Betrayed. Roselo was part of Menudo, a very popular musical group in the 1980s and 1990s, when he met Menendez, who was an influential executive in the music industry. The abuse occurred at the Menendez home, where José exerted his power and control over him and other young people. In his testimony, Roy shared how the abuse profoundly affected his life and mental health, leaving him with lasting trauma. He described the fear and the helplessness he felt as a victim of an adult in a position of power. Roselo emphasized that his experience validated Lyle and Erik Menendez's allegations of abuse by their father. This underscores that José Menendez's predatory behavior was not an isolated incident, but part of a broader pattern. By revealing his story, Roy stressed the importance of giving a voice to abuse victims and the need to raise awareness about this experience in the entertainment industry. His testimony also aims to inspire other survivors to speak about their experience and seek justice. Roselo's testimony has reignited interest and debate surrounding the Menendez brothers' case, leading to a reconsideration of their convictions. Many now argue that the evidence of abuse should have been taken into account during the trial, which could have changed the outcome. Well, to be honest, I couldn't believe when I read all this, because cousin of the brothers give testimony in the first trial, and the judge didn't care. Now, after 35 years, they may have a chance to walk free, and I'm wishing that with all my heart, because I feel so sorry for them, because the father was a criminal, a pedophile, and the problem was he had power, he had money, so he could do whatever they want. And the problem with these cases, the justice tried to cover up always the guilty ones, I was surprised about the boy's mother, because one of the testimony was from one of the cousins. She was spending holidays in the house, and one day she was making his his mother was checking his sins after he passed away.